Hey guys, we're here back again. This time we're going to be doing another episode going over some news on the new hero called Yates. Super excited because this is one of the heroes that was teased alongside Silvernail about a month and a half ago. But it was slated for 3.7, which is this next update coming very soon. They are teasing the stuff now, so that means it's going to be coming around the corner about a week from now, maybe even less. Maybe this coming Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So there we go. Really excited. This is my first time checking him out as far as some of the Twitter feed from Vainglory. I haven't really seen anything he does. This is my first impressions, but let's go ahead and get into it. So we do have a trailer to play real quickly, so let's go ahead and show you guys that.
For generations, our people have run from the churn. But now, with Githian steel, Elkin magic, and Seraphim knowledge, my men and I have obliterated the infested lands, making way for those who will end the cycle of devastation forever. If some old trees must fall, if some beasts swear revenge, well, that is the price to be paid for survival.
Alright, there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that quick trailer here for Yates. Super badass trailer. It actually gave me the goosebumps and the hair to stand on end on my arms here. But anyways, we do have the two abilities. I don't think we have the ultimate at all just yet, but we do have the first two abilities plus potentially a passive. I'm not entirely sure if it's a passive or maybe it's just the first ability all in all. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So we do have the first ability. So let's go ahead and show you guys that. All right, so there we go. So we have, it looks like a pool, kind of like Finn's pool, but I'm assuming that this pool is probably a single target pool. But there is one thing I do want to kind of show or emphasize is the fact that after he pulls, there's two hits he makes on the Anka there, and each time he hits Anka, the mace he's holding glows brighter and brighter. So that's kind of where I'm not sure if it's a passive or if that's the ability in itself. I'm not entirely sure. From past experiences when it comes to these videos here, they tend to show multiple abilities in the same video. So I believe they showed that with Anka where they had like her dagger, and they also had the passive show up too in that video. Same thing with Yates, I think, is what's going on here. So again, the A ability is the pull, which I think is a single target pull. If they had a team-wide pull similar to Finn's ultimate as his A ability, I think that'd be a little OP. So I think it's a single target. And I believe the passive is that the two hits that were happening after the fact. Now, as far as the effect for the passive, I believe it's going to be a couple things, or maybe one of these things. So it could be increased damage. So maybe like each hit he makes contact on an enemy hero, he enhances his damage on his mace more and more, up to maybe 2 times. Or maybe it actually does not have any kind of effect until you get that second proc, which then it glows really bright, and that's when it'll actually make some extra damage maybe, or maybe it's an increased crit chance. You know, I don't know, we'll have to see. It would be interesting to see like an increased crit chance, so like you necessarily don't even have to build like crit as heavily if you want to go weapon power weapon power path. So that would be kind of interesting to see that actually take place as far as an effect, because I don't think we have any passive effects or just effects on heroes that increase their critical rate chance, or you know, the critical chance in general. So that'd be kind of interesting. Well, we do have Ringo. We have Ringo. Scratch that. We have Ringo, which has a guaranteed crit after he kills a target. But I'm thinking more of like a buff, regardless of something dying or not, like a buff that increases his crit chance or crit damage. Should be interesting if that actually is what it is. Or maybe it's a CC. Maybe it actually empowers his mace, and on the second activation, it'll apply a stun or a massive slow, or maybe a damage reduction dealt by that enemy hero he hits. Who knows? A lot of good effects can be put into this ability. We're not sure which one it is yet, but anyways, there we go. So we have a pull, and I believe is a passive. What do you guys think? Do you think that's the passive, the second effect there, or do you think that's all in the same ability? Who knows? I guess we'll find out here in the next day or two, or actually Tuesday, I think, is when the update's dropping. But let's go ahead and move on. We have the second ability here, which is, looks like a stun. So what happens here is he actually has an ability which, when activated, it has a charge up time, and then when it actually finishes charging up, it'll explode and stun on the target. And based on the caption here, it says, don't be overwhelmed. Everyone is a bit stunned at first, and I believe that probably implies, or just by looking at the video, it's going to be an AoE stun. Anything in that circle, once it actually expires and explodes, gets stunned. So this is immediately kind of making me think that Yates is definitely a captain. Now, there is potential for him to be like a bruiser, like you would have Lance being weapon power or Arden being weapon power. It can work, but I think the focus right now is Captain Yates as far as his ability goes, but maybe that's just the initial effect that we visually see, but there's more to it. Maybe there's actually some more damage-oriented effects in his kit that isn't visually shown here, or can't really figure out until we actually see the details of the abilities. But at first glance, I think he's going to be a captain. That charge up time could be an interesting mechanic too, because it requires you to kind of work around it. You're not going to have an immediate stun, so like if something's going out, like for instance, just a random thought, so Gwen's going to throw out her Ace's Hyra, that's what it's called, her ultimate that stuns. You won't be able to stun her out of it like immediately the moment you see it. It's something you have to preemptively expect. So if you don't preemptively expect it, then you're just not going to be able to stun her out of it. One of those kind of situations where you really have to know what's going to happen or expect the unexpected and kind of prematurely actually activate your stun so you can go ahead and stun people out of it. Kind of like the Grace and her B with a knock-up, it's very similar, I feel. There's some channeling time, and it requires you to kind of use that timing to properly use the ability. Now, we don't have the ultimate at all here, which is unfortunate. I really wanted to show you guys that. But unfortunately, there's nothing. There's nothing yet. I think it's coming out tomorrow as far as when they actually reveal it, which I'll go ahead and cover it then. But as far as speculation, I don't know why, but I'm thinking of something like Garen from League of Legends. If you guys don't know, definitely check it out on YouTube. Just put Garen, you know, League of Legends, and you'll see his ultimate, and he like jumps up, slams down on a target, have some sort of gap closer there too, and does massive damage to a target based on their percent health they have left. The lower they are, the more damage he does. I think that's how it works. But anyways, I'm thinking that's going to be something that he does. I think that's going to be the ultimate of his. Or the other route, which I was kind of brainstorming, like, okay, what could he do as the captain that really helps, is kind of a team-wide buff. So like Polite Company with Finn, that provides fortified health, and increased armor, increased defense, right? I think that we're going to maybe potentially get a team-wide buff where he roars or shouts, and then he will go ahead and increase the damage of his team in that area. That would be really cool. Maybe it won't be like it's a buff on the allies. It's just whoever is in that range of that yell or that shout. It casts like a circle on the ground, and whoever's in that circle has increased damage. So that'd be kind of a little bit more balanced, I feel, too, because then the enemy team can, as a counterplay, kind of rotate out of that circle and, you know, bring back the damage back to normal levels, and kind of use that as a counterplay. That way it's not just straight damage buff, and now your team is doing far less than the enemy team, because Yates just shouted for the enemy team. Well, that'd be kind of cool, right? Like a team-wide damage buff. That would be really, really cool. But anyways, there we go. So that's what I think is happening here as far as Yates. What do you guys think his ultimate is going to be? I believe that is a sound assumption as far as what he may do, but I probably am 100% incorrect, but I would love to see that effect in game. But anyways, there you go. That's about all I have. I'll go ahead and play the trailer one more time for you guys here, just to kind of get a glimpse again at Yates coming here in the next, I think, 4 or 5 days. I think Tuesday is the update. Usually release this news right before the update. So definitely exciting times. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Later.
For generations, our people have run from the churn. But now, With Githian steel, Elkin magic, and Seraphim knowledge, my men and I have obliterated the infested lands, making way for those who will end the cycle of devastation forever. If some old trees must fall, if some beasts swear revenge, well, that is the price to be paid for survival.